Welcome to Shock to the Series. Finish him! What's up, guys? Welcome to Shock to the Series, episode 5. This is a take on Mortal Kombat. Of course, Mortal Kombat has been around since the SNES. I did not play it well on the SNES. My parents were not really into the whole blood and gore aspect and the idea of fatalities and things like that. But since then, I did play a little bit of it when I got to college. I played one of the more offshoot games. I believe it was either Mythologies or Shaolin Monk, something to that effect. And then I dabbled in 9 a little bit, but I was playing other things when 9 came out. So 10 is honestly the first one where I really started to try to learn characters and learn moves and things and get a little deeper into the game and actually play it. I don't unfortunately have it anymore. I've got a stack of PlayStation 4 games over here. This is my remaining stack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 games when I had about 30-ish. Just because I got a 7th one over there, but needed money. And unfortunately, Mortal Kombat ended up as something where I didn't play it enough. I wasn't invested enough, so I had to get rid of it. But I did like Mortal Kombat X. I loved some of the moments I had in it. One of my favorite new characters is Kung Jin, and I learned to utilize him very well. And not in like a Green Arrow Injustice style where I'm just standing off and just picking you off with arrows. No, it was different. I liked just his physicality and the way he went into his X-ray and things like that. I like Ferrator. He's one of those big characters like an Astaroth or a Zangief. But he's got the little guy, Farah, and it really makes a unique moveset, and I thought he was a lot of fun to use. A lot of the new characters were definitely interesting. I like using Jacqueline as well. And Kotal Khan. Kotal Khan, he's a little harder to use, but he's a lot of fun. But, yeah, this series has been very interesting over the years. It's gone through ups and downs. And we've heard a lot of speculation about Mortal Kombat 11. Mortal Kombat 10 was released April 2015, so it's been about 3.5 years. And we've heard a lot of speculation, but nothing truly official. Even from the likes of Ed Boon, I think we've gotten nods that Mortal Kombat 11 may be coming, but no trailers, no screenshots, nothing that actually indicates that there is a game in existence. Now, there's still a little bit this year to come. I believe Gamescom is like in December, and I know that's when last year I announced Bayonetta 3 and Soul Calibur 6. And Soul Calibur 6, now not even a year later, is out, which is fantastic. I'm really glad I don't have to do one of these Shock to the Series episodes on Soul Calibur, because it's my favorite fighting game series by a lot. But the question is, what's to come from Mortal Kombat 11? We've seen in 9 and 10, we've gotten horror movie characters for the most part for DLC. We've gotten Alien and Predator and Leatherface. We've gotten some past Mortal Kombat characters like Bo Raicho, and just, I think, characters who were in like comics or something. I know Tanya and Tremor, I think, are technically past Mortal Kombat characters, but they showed up in 10, but I don't remember them. But anyway, we also had like the likes of like Jason and Freddy Krueger. And one of my favorite moments from 10 is I was playing as and Jason had just come out, so his abilities weren't really well known yet as far as their mechanics and how they worked and things like that, and I hadn't had time to look, but I knew he had the unstoppable fighting style, and so I picked that and I went up and I battled a good friend of mine, Alejandro, and I lost. I knew I was probably going to lose no matter what, but I figured if this unstoppable thing worked somehow, I didn't know how it worked, but I knew the gist of the ability was it gave you a second chance at life when you died. So I said, okay, if I can do this, maybe I can get him down enough where when I come back, I can finish him. And he forgot about the ability, so I get beaten. I pop back up, and he was not terribly happy with that moment of that match. And I learned to utilize Jason fairly well after that point. He was another one I kind of liked to go to. But they're running out of big horror movie icons to really, I think, pull from. And I think something they need to do for Mortal Kombat 11 is borrow from where Injustice is borrowed from the Mortal Kombat universe. Mortal Kombat has never borrowed from the Injustice/DC universe, and I think they can do that successfully if you pick the right character. There's some R-rated DC material, not a lot, but some, and I think if you go a certain route with some characters, you can pull it off. I think the Batman Who Laughs is very creepy, and I think he could be an amazing character for something like Mortal Kombat. Perhaps a Black Lantern as well would be welcome in the Mortal Kombat circle. And I'm really curious to see if this is going to continue the X storyline and continue to give us the future characters like Cassie Cage and Jacqueline and Kotal Khan, or if they're going to pull a Soul Calibur 6 and kind of go back in time and give us like Shao Kahn and normal versions of these, younger versions of these characters. So it's really interesting to think about where they might go for this series. And to see what else they do with it. Halloween's kind of the perfect time of year for the atmosphere that Mortal Kombat brings. You look at, I believe it was either 9 or 10, where you had to hunt through the caves and the graves and things like that, and you had spiders come down, you had wolves attack and things like that. And these were sufficient jump scares depending on who you were. I know a couple people who did not like to see the spiders. They didn't want to play the little adventure mode walking around because they didn't want to get jumped on by spiders and stuff like that. I can't really blame them. In some cases, these were big spiders. Yeah, spider. But yeah. So again, it's been about 3.5 years. So the question as of now is more when is it coming, not if it's coming. It's not like Soul Calibur where it was a good 5 to 6 years at least, if not longer, between releases, or something like an F-Zero, which hasn't had a release since the GameCube, all those years ago. It's a little over 15 years ago, at least, I believe. So, yeah, it's still a case now of more when than if. If that changes, if we get any more info, of course, I'll be posting it here. It may be the end of the year before we hear anything, but I plan to do some kind of yearly update, see if we've gotten any more info on these titles. Probably not in the case of most of them. Unfortunately, most of them have probably fallen to the wayside. But I know a lot of people are big fans of Mortal Kombat, and I'm curious to see what comes next. I do feel like there's been a bit of a lull, and I can't wait to see what they really do whenever they release something. Again, presumably before the end of this year, but it could be E3 next year if it's coming. Again, I think it's still a matter of more when than if. I don't think it's so far gone at this point where fans need to be wondering, oh, is it even actually coming? But maybe some of you are tired of it. I mean, it's evolved and it hasn't evolved at the same time, and I'm curious kind of the next step it takes to compete with the likes of Soul Calibur and Street Fighter V and Tekken 7 and things like that. But I definitely think it's still coming. Are you ready for another entry in the Mortal Kombat series, or do you think it should be finished? Post your opinion in the top right as usual. Next week, I get into my first one-shot. This is a game that has only had one release, unfortunately, and I feel it deserves a second chance. I feel it deserves another game in the same vein. So this is not so much a series as it is, like I said, a one-shot. But I think it was good enough where it deserves to become a series. That's it for this one, guys. That is lights out on Shock to a Series, Mortal Kombat.